All right, guys, we're back for round 19's review, and this is going to be the finale for 2024 Supercoach because the team is Kaputski, right? This is the second time I've had to record it, which has made it even better. So, 2274 is a horrible score considering Saturday going into the 4 o'clock games, whatever time that is, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that. I was predicted for 2600. Now predictions obviously aren't live and die, but they were all numbers that were very hittable. Some were even under 100. So yeah, not great. Like I said, team is done. Injury happened. No trades. No loop or no backup. Fielding a donut every week, so the rank just goes into free fall now, right? So not going to bore you guys every week with having to watch that, but yeah, I think it was a good season overall. Honestly, this is just unlucky. You can't really plan. It brought in a player that was one of the most informed players of this season. He fractures his foot and he's out for the season. What he meant to do, right? What? Oh, I should have sent him a text, say, hey, watch out for the foot. What are you supposed to do, right? You bring him in, he's scoring good, and he's out for the season. Yeah. Like I said, it's been a good run. I think we peaked at a top. I want to say it was definitely top 50. I want to say it was in the 40s, but it could have been even lower than that. I think I had one more rank climb, which was maybe in the 30s. But yeah, that's it for this year. I'd probably foresee me finishing 5k, something like that, because again, fielding a donut. Yeah, okay. Going into it, it is the TDK injury. So when I brought him in, he's still got a good average if you look at it. It's 124 5 round, which I think is still one of the better 5 rounds for Ruckman right now. Brought him in here. That's one of the best 5 game, 6 game stretches, how many that is, of any player this year. Probably the only one that can compete is Heaney. So definitely wasn't the incorrect pick, right? People are going to go, oh, but you shouldn't have picked him. You were point chasing. He had a 160 5 round average. That's once you get to 5 round average, that's pretty good, right? That's not point chasing. That's just unlucky that he got hurt. And I had I wasn't expecting a big score versus North, but I was kind of expecting a 95, something around there. Vicenteni is not going to play. It's not going to happen. Kruger can't get in the ruck line because no one has forward DPP. Probably should have gone Luke Jackson at some point just to get the DPP. But as for the rest of the team, just shocking, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 missed tons, with one being a concussed 100, including deconing, that's 11. Terrible, right? Don't even know where I should have done stuff. There is one trade, if I had a time machine, I'd go back, but yeah, terrible. So Sheasel was great. I think Sheasel will be, depending on how prices and stuff come out next year, he'll probably be a top pick player, or everyone's first pick. Between him, Dacos, because Dacos will be a bit cheaper because he's down from last year. Maybe a Flanders, something like that, would also be up there. Sheasel's been really good. This is one that I definitely got wrong. So, start of the year, I was super against him being a midfielder. Turns out he's actually good at it. I guess I should just believed in good players are good. But yeah, so he's been really, really good this last couple of weeks. I want to say he hasn't gone it's been a while since he went under 130. Last week wasn't good, but it was Sydney. 140. I feel like there was another 130 in there. Maybe I'm thinking one of these games. But yeah, he's been good. Dacos, I mean, when I still think Dacos is the best player in the AFL. Collingwood are in such a slump at the moment. They haven't got like healthy bodies basically anywhere. Um, Darcy Moore is like a shell of himself. Like it's the fall off from last year is crazy, but there is a lot of injuries involved, and you won a premiership, so you're not really too upset if you're a Collingwood fan. Um, Considering how long it took to get from the last one to this one. Well, I mean, 2010's not that long ago, but given it's Collingwood, you kind of expect it to not take 14 years to win one, especially when you've got the whole like AFL behind you trying to help you win. But yeah, Dacos gets like the most attention in the competition. It's the same as if you were watching like a Gary Ablett, something like that, right? There's a tag on him every game. Teams that don't tag are tagging him. Players that never play that aren't best 22 are coming into the squad to tag him. It's not something that's normal. He's still averaging 115, which like you run through it, that's better than most players. Yeah, just a couple of down weeks. And I think next year it's going to be a topic of contention whether you start Dacos or let him drop. Because this year he had a huge drop off. What did he drop to? I want to say it was 500. Actually, is now his lowest, really? 56. I really thought he dropped more. Maybe it's just selective memory. Oh no, that's not this year, is it? No, it is. Selective memory, I guess. I thought he dropped a lot more. Luke Ryan, this is one, like, I've seen people saying, like, oh, you shouldn't trade them in. You were point chasing. Oh, like, it was never, you could never hold that up, right? Like, continue that through a season. That's rubbish. He was scoring 170 a game. He almost scored 200, right? The only thing that stopped him is Longmire, Longmire? Never get it right. Freo coach coming out and saying stop stat padding. That's it. That's the only thing that stopped it. And they changed the game plan to have Jordan Clark stat pad instead of Luke Ryan. That's it. That's what changed it. You go to kick in numbers, they changed. You go to possession numbers, they changed. You look at heat maps, they changed. Because they didn't want Luke Ryan to get 40 touches a game and Freo to lose because it was not a good look. When that happens, again, that's just unlucky, right? Like, I don't think Freo are real contenders anyway. Like, look, we'll pull up DFS if I can find it there. You'll see, like, all of Luke Ryan's scoring avenues dropped off. So, kick-ins, Freo. He's dropped to 4. Go back to the start of the year and stuff. He's getting 10, 9, 6, 8. Like, 8, 8, 8, 8, 7, 9, 10. Like, it just dropped off. They're not doing the same as what they were doing, so he's not getting the numbers he used to. Nick Martin, I think this is probably an avoid for next season. Like, I do intend to have like the next week's video be a year in review / planning for next year type of deal. I think Nick Martin's an avoid for next year, no matter what the price is, just because he can put up a big score, like I think he did last week. Yeah, 140. But the downside is if he's inaccurate, it's no good, right? Like it's not a good game. Essendon, and that's the other thing. It's like Essendon as well. Essendon are so like tipsy turvy with how they play. Like first half of the season, they're kind of like looking like a real contender. Now they look like a bottom 8 team, right? Like maybe bottom 6. They don't look good. Their game plan just doesn't work. Second half of the season, don't know what it is. Naz, again, an avoid. Unless Sydney get rid of... Oh, not Sydney. Why did I say Sydney? Unless St Kilda get rid of Bonner and or Brad Hill, Naz just isn't an option. I know Brad Hill's playing a lot of forward, but when you look at how they move the ball up the field, like actually watch the game, most of it's through Brad Hill. He didn't play this week. I think Hill's injured actually, but the way they're playing, Sinclair being good is kind of killing it as well. They're moving a lot through him. Naz is second or third best kick in the team. Maybe second, I'd say, behind maybe Sinclair. Even then, Sinclair has shanked a few of them. Yeah, I mean, unlucky again. This one, I wouldn't put it unlucky. I think this was just a bad pick. What week did I trade him in? Can I see that? I should have done this next week, but I just want to see what week did I trade him in. Naz round 3. So if we go here, we go to round 3. Would it be round 2? I think it's round 2 I'm looking at. Their defenders. Where is his price? I'd imagine he scored good. Yeah, 120. 475, so let's go under 500. So thank you, Herald Sun, for not having a working system still. After years of having this there, they still can't get this to work. Let's go 490, so it's like sub 500. McGovern was obviously the option. McGovern's still like good. Oh, Jordan Clark was super the option. Oh man. Can you imagine how much, like, I'd actually be like a top 50 player right now if I went Clark. Man. I shouldn't have looked at that. That's got me depressed now. Oh, man. That's crazy. And I like Jordan Clark as well. Damn, I should have went him. I feel like I remember saying the words in the video for going for Jordan Clark. He was less than 1% at the time. Man. That should have been Jordan Clark. Then I wouldn't have gone Luke Ryan because I'd have already a Freo guy. Man. I would have had that money to spend elsewhere. So I think I brought in Ryan while he was still expensive. Houston, this one isn't a bad pick. I think this was a good starting pick. You look at the start of the season, it's just he's fallen off recently. You look at that, I think that's a good pick still for 500k. Wouldn't be a... Probably won't start him next year. Probably won't look at starting him, but... like... Oh my goodness, I hate this game. See, like, who would I take over him? I guess if I go to round 1. Alright, so sort by price. It was Houston. Young, I did start, and I regret it. Crisp wasn't any good. No, it would have been McGovern, but I would never start McGovern. I wouldn't start a key defender. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Houston was actually a good starting pick. None of the bench rookies played. Onto the midfield. This is actually going right, so I'm going to speed up. Bont was good. Dogs kind of just dominated the Cats, which was interesting. I thought it was going to be close. I actually thought Geelong were going to like sneak it out in a close game, but yeah, Dogs were good. I thought. Butters. I mean, this one's incredible. This one should not have been a bad score. There's no reason. Richmond are the easiest to score against team in the competition over the last couple of years for a midfielder. If you get, I never know how to find it consistently on DFS, but there's scoring against position per team. You can do like 3 years of backtracking, and it's always Richmond are the easiest for a midfield to score on. He scored sub 90. He went almost 200 last time. They don't have another one, so I can't see recent scores, but like, my God. Like, if I go career stats, I go versus opponent, Richmond, it's a 175 and it could have been more. I remember that game. Insane. Dunkley. I knew this was going to be a hard one. Brisbane, Sydney. I think this was at the SCG. Was it? No, that was in Adelaide, so that must have been at the Gabba. I remember watching it. I just can't remember where it actually was. Um, yeah, I mean, unlucky here. I thought he'd do a lot better. There wasn't a tag on him. The tag was on Neil. Goulden thought he'd do better, but it does make sense. Like, if it was at the Gabba, the way Sydney play in close games doesn't necessarily help Goulden. It's kind of Goulden helps Sydney in close games. It's a different mechanic. Merritt, I thought, was pretty poor this week. Lucky to scrape 100. He had a goal in the fourth, which gave him like 12 points, something like that. So that gave him the 100. Rosie was good. Looking at halftime, I thought, all right, Butters isn't going to do any good, but I'm going to get like a Rosie 150. Fell off. Of course he did, but he still had a fine game. I think it's a little underscored. Sarong was good the week that I didn't even think about captaining him. Because I thought they were going to put Neil Bullen or something on him. Because every team just wants to tag now. Even when they haven't got taggers, they just tag now. So they're bringing in, I'd imagine they bring in like Kynan Brown or something like that, who I think he had like 10 tackles in the VFL. It's like, oh, here we go again. Who do they verse this week? GWS. If you've got Tom Green, get ready. Yeah, it's so annoying seeing the 140 there after the last 2 weeks of trying to captain Sarong and he gives you an 80. So annoying. And then Walsh just wasn't there. Like, couldn't even spot him in the game. Somehow this was close. North still aren't a good team. They're just kind of like putting up a good score somehow. Duke's still hurt, probably. I'd imagine he comes back soon. Suns need him back, especially if they have to play another road game. They looked terrible versus GW. Like, they looked horrible versus GWS. This was on the same time as the West Coast game, and it was like debatable who looks worse. West Coast obviously did look worse because they gave up. Remember, he was on 3 goals, and they didn't even have a man marking him. That's it. He's on 3 goals, and then they're resetting, and there's not a man on him. I can't believe that. I don't know how Schofield makes it to next week. Dowling was good, but there was like I wasn't bringing on 83. De Koning injured. Marshall was good. I thought Marshall was actually a fair bit better than 123. I think it was kicking efficiency because he had one of those like super high kicking games. As opposed to Ruckman typically do the handball game, which helps their efficiency. Flanders was good, but that was the only good player for Gold Coast. Everyone else was terrible. I don't know what they're doing in the off season because this not being able to win on the road thing is a real deal, and it's basically going to stop them from making the 8. I don't know what their fixture is. Brisbane, they're not winning. I think it was 21. West Coast, yeah, okay. That doesn't count. They could lose to Essendon. Yeah, they could beat Melbourne. Depends on what Melbourne goes up. And Richmond at the MCG, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Richmond get up because it's the dimmer game. That's actually going to be a really good game to watch. Maybe I'll see if I can get tickets to go. Caldwell, like I said, got concussed. I don't know if he's going to miss this week. I think it was more precautionary. They subbed him out. I haven't actually checked that, whether he's going to play this week. He would have the red dot if it was actual concussion, but he was subbed off for an injury and had to go get a HIA. Heaney, 72, just not good enough. Just, yeah, a bit more forward time. Second half of the season, which is kind of killing him. And plus, now I think that he's not winning the Brownlow. He's kind of coasting a bit, which happens. Zorka was really good, just got heaps of the ball. He's really just Brisbane's like facilitator from defence. You can kind of see it as well. Like, you go to the stats, it'll be all of his high touch games. Yeah, they just kick mark in the back line. Fisher and Simpkin. Man, I wish I had like an extra 5 trades. Oh, I want to get rid of these bums. Especially Fisher. Oh, he's so shit. He's so garbage. I don't care if he's the only halfback for North next year. I'm not trading him in. I'm not starting him, trading him in or anything. He's so rubbish. He's so cooked as well. Like, and then Simpkin is just cooked. Like, he's probably a VFL player. Kruger played but didn't do anything. So that's about it for the team. I'll do vice captain, right? So what are we at? 20. They're gonna bring in Drew to tag someone. They could tag Walsh, so I wouldn't touch that game. Sheasel against Geelong in Tassie, not touching it. Not touching it. Merritt will probably get tagged. I could see Caldwell doing alright versus Saints. And then... Richmond are going to tag. This is so annoying. When do Richmond ever tag? Like, surely there's a Richmond fan out there that can go through, like, every game of their last, like, dynasty run. They've never, ever, ever ran a tagger. Ever. Like, ever. But now, they want to run a tag. It's so annoying. Oh my god. I said a couple of weeks ago, this is probably like one of the easier years of Supercoach. And it is. It's just a lot of stupid going on. Like, yeah. I'm done at round 20, right? 4 rounds of free falling. But I'd still say this is one of the easier years of Supercoach. I think if you just don't do stupid stuff, like I trade Grundy. That was the stupid thing I did. If I had a time machine, I'd go back. Had a time machine, I'd go put money on the lottery. But if I didn't trade Grundy, I'd be in a way better spot because I wouldn't have to deal with this bullshit. I'd have Gawn, Grundy. I'd probably have traded Gawn to TDK still, but I would have an extra trade because I wouldn't be messing around on Sweet, Vicentini, Marsh. I wouldn't have to deal with any of that. I'd have an extra trade. Maybe I would trade 2. Maybe that's not correct. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it for this week. Could also go Goulden against the Dogs. Outside mids versus the Dogs isn't a bad shot. It's just there's not that many points to go around. Wouldn't touch Bond. Who do Brisbane play? Gold Coast. Gold Coast don't have a tagger. Maybe a vice captain there. But yeah, that's about it for this week. Seeing that Supercoach is done at this point, I'm thinking of doing a NCAA series because I've had a lot of fun playing that game. I've got Colorado. I don't have a team to go for. I'm not American. I don't even know half the colleges. That's the only thing that stopped me from doing it. I wanted to make a dynasty, but it says words like alma mater and shit like that. I don't understand it. I'm not American. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. It might be funny to see me trying to play it because I'm not good at the game. But yeah, I'll see you all next week for review, and then we'll see what we're doing next. Tasty out.